China, one of the world's largest gaming markets, has announced its latest move to curb video game addiction by imposing an online curfew for those under the age of 18. The Chinese president, Xi Jinping, has voiced concerns that the games are damaging to children's health, including their eyesight. Our China media analyst, Carrie Allen, told me more.
Well, this ban has come from the top down, and it means that game platforms like Tencent Games, they need to now make it mandatory that by certain hours, children can't play computer games. Between the hours of 10 p.m. and 8 a.m., they absolutely cannot access any computer games whatsoever. And also they're already restricted to playing a number of hours per day anyway. They can only play 90 minutes within the week and 3 hours at the weekend. And then what happens is they're just bailed out. The reason Xi Jinping really wants to implement this, there's a number of reasons. There's the health problems that are related with people staring a long time at platforms, gaming platforms. I mean, I remember when I was living in China, it was very, very common to see parents handing over a tablet for their very, very young children to play with, or their kids playing with a mobile phone and playing a computer game on it. So that's one of the reasons. It's the attention span, the addiction, but also children are having health problems sleeping, and also they're going to school and they're finding that because they're so addicted to these games, their attention span is somewhere else.
Now, this isn't the first time the country has done something like this, and gamers are, after all, very crafty. So how effective will these measures be?
They'll be very effective because the government does put pressure on gaming platforms that they need to comply with these measures. If they don't, they will get a huge fine. And so say a small independent game producer wants to make its services available to children outside of these hours, the government could just fine it and they lose all their money and they can no longer operate in the country. And bear in mind, this is China. It doesn't allow in independent media, independent games from outside the country. So it would be very difficult for them to play overseas games. They would need a license within the country. So yeah, the government does have very tight controls, and it wouldn't allow people to do this.
And what's the reaction been like online to this?
There's been very angry reaction. I mean, there's obviously been parents who've been saying they think it's a very good idea because they know that children are so addicted to these games. At the same time, there have been criticisms that there should be a better parental role anyway in making sure that children aren't playing outside of hours. So maybe parents need to take their children to parks more or involve them in other activities that don't mean that they're spending hours a day just looking at a mobile or a tablet.
Carrie Allen.